What's up, everybody? Thanks as always for supporting the show. It would mean a lot to me if you would take a second to scroll down and hit that subscribe button to the Hoops Tonight YouTube channel, and then follow me on social media on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter so you guys don't miss any of our content over the course of this season. All right, let's talk some basketball. Timpf's Tape. Second episode of the season. I saw you guys throw out some name suggestions. We're going with Timpf's Tape for right now, but that's still up for debate. So if you guys have any suggestions, drop them in there. We did shrink the little square. I had some of you guys tell me the square was too big, so we shrunk that down. We're working on the formatting still, and we're working on some of those details. This is going to be something we do every day, and I want it to be something that we just get a little bit better at each day, and hopefully by the end of the season, it looks more like a finished product. But I got 9 clips for you guys tonight. Clip number 1 and 2 are both Warriors low man possessions that led to transition runouts. I have 2 call outs from this play, so we're going to run it through twice. First play, we got a ball screen. As you can see, DeAnthony Melton's chasing. Trayce Jackson-Davis is in more or less a drop coverage, but Zubac is on the roll here. And Trayce is a little out of position, so James Harden makes the pocket pass. But look where Steph is. Steph's job here is to decide whether or not to help or to stay home in the corner. Steph times it perfectly, jumps the passing lane, gets in there, takes it away from Zubac. Those are those low man defensive plays that are so important. Then we get the Warriors out in transition, or once again, they dominated this game 24-14 in transition points. Trayce Jackson-Davis drops it off for Kuminga for a dunk. Now, you guys remember the talking point I had earlier in the game about styles making fights and about how you just have to win with your particular style? Zubac, as we talked about, a little big for Trayce Jackson-Davis. What is Trayce Jackson-Davis's advantage? Speed. Let's watch what happens here. Pass. At the point of the turnover, Zubac is actually closer to the basket than Trayce Jackson-Davis. They're both more or less even with each other. I'm going to run this in full speed. Watch how much faster Trayce Jackson-Davis is than Zubac getting down the floor. Look at this. Zubac is not even in the frame. And Trayce looks like a wing making a play in transition. That's his advantage. If he ends up starting a lot this year, that's how he can beat out these bigger, slower bigs around the NBA. Let's get to clip number 2. This time, Draymond Green, once again, as the help defender. Trayce Jackson-Davis is the guy that is guarding the ball screen. This allows Draymond Green to function as the low man. As we can see in this, we can see how this play is developing, right? So, and by the way, Synergy splits play clips into different play types. I wanted to include the transition segment. That's why the beginning of these plays got cut off. If I show the beginning of this plays, then I missed on the transition. And the transition is kind of part of the point here. So as James Harden is coming off, Trayce Jackson-Davis is in a high drop, right? This is, I believe, that's DeAnthony Melton chasing over the top. Steph is tagging the roller real quick. So Zubac is getting behind Trayce Jackson-Davis. Steph is doing something that he can do on this play to make life a little easier. Let's just bump Zubac with that shoulder there, right? Then Steph gets back out to the corner. Now Draymond is splitting the difference. He's hanging tight. He's putting himself in a position where he feels comfortable. If James Harden has 2 reads available, James can throw this pass on the bounce to Zubac, or he can throw the skip to Kobe Brown here in the left corner, right? Draymond has to make a read. He's playing the difference where he feels like if James makes this pass, he can close out, but he can also get to Zoo. Watch the pass. Watch how Draymond sits, waits, boom, explodes, gets there. And this is where Draymond's long arms are a huge advantage. Watch how, that's in slow motion. I'm going to show this in fast motion. Watch how quickly Draymond goes from standing still to deflecting this pass. Crazy defensive play. And once again, like blows it up. There's 2 open guys there. Draymond is splitting the difference between the 2. Turns out neither of them are open. Once again, we have Trayce Jackson-Davis sprinting up the floor way ahead of Zubac. And he's going to get a lob dunk. Running the floor. That's the best way for Trayce Jackson-Davis to show his value at the center position. All right. This is a possession where the Clippers end up getting a layup for Terrence Mann out of the left corner. The reason why I put this play in here is I always talk about the importance of off-ball player movement. So off-ball player movement is the simplest way I can put it is like, here we're getting a ball screen, right? We're getting Chicago action. So the Clippers are running Chicago action on the strong side. All that is James Harden pinning down for Norman Powell. It's going to come off of a handoff from Zubac, right? These are your weak side spacers. So there's two versions of this play, right? There's the version of it where they just stand. They stand still. Kuminga can kind of sit here. Let's say Powell comes off. Kuminga can dig down, but if Powell makes the kick out pass, Kuminga can easily close out because it's such a short distance. It's much easier help side defense if these guys just stand still. But instead, as Norman Powell comes off of this dribble handoff, Kobe Brown goes, hey, vacant corner. As they're running this action, James could theoretically stay up at the wing. I'm just going to cut through. Just not because I think I'm going to get a layup, but just because I'm going to do something other than stand still. Kobe Brown cuts through. Watch what happens. Now let's slow it down and talk about what specifically happened. On the cut, Jonathan Kuminga is so keyed in on the Chicago action. Look at him. He's keyed in on the Chicago action. Kobe back cuts him, beats him from behind there. This forces Steph to chase the cutter. So now since Steph chases the cutter, sorry guys, since Steph has chased the cutter, Kuminga is now guarding Terrence Mann. And because Kuminga is now guarding Terrence Mann, when Kobe was here, that's a closeout Kuminga can make. But with Terrence Mann being all the way over here, that's a much tougher closeout. Now we get the pass. Little jab step. Kuminga's way on the high side because he closed down from the elbow. Terrence Mann is able to get downhill. And he's got too much of a head of steam. Goes up and under on Trayce Jackson-Davis for a nice finish. So again, you get a high quality closeout opportunity just by virtue of cutting. Now, the counterpoint would be, okay, Jason, but Jonathan Kuminga just got back cut. That's all that really happened there, right? Yeah, you're right. And guess what? Any elite defense that is locked in, they're not going to make many mistakes, and it's going to be difficult for you to find openings. The point is, the more action you run on the ball, the more off-ball player movement you have, the more off-ball screening you have, all of those things force defenders to make decisions. And if you make a defense make 2 or 3 times as many decisions on a possession, there's just more chances that they make a mistake. For instance, if Kobe Brown just stands still there on this switch, they switch this, right? Steph stays in the corner. If Kobe Brown just stands there, Kuminga does not have to make a decision having to do with Kobe Brown. He's keyed in on the ball handler. He knows where he is. If the kick out passes there, he closes out. Kobe Brown cutting forces the Warriors to make a decision. Kuminga makes a mistake that generates the opening. The more, think of it like a blender. The more of a blender you put their defense in, the more chance that it breaks apart. But if you attack it in a very rudimentary and basic way, there's less opportunity for that defense to break apart. That's why off-ball player movement is so important. That's why I wanted to include that play. Simple, easy basketball. All right. This next one is a Karl-Anthony Towns pick and pop. So, one of the things I want you to keep an eye on here, I talked about this. You could tell Brunson's just not used to having this as an option. This is an easy read, right? Okay, so we're in our drop coverage, right? Taj Gibson's in the drop coverage. Brandon Miller's chasing over the top. As Brandon Miller's chasing, Taj is still staying in the drop. Cat is staying around the three-point line, right? Now, a little bit of spacing detail. Josh Hart needs to be a little bit further over here. That makes it so that Trey Mann is a little bit further over here. But still, the play develops. Josh sees it at the last second, kind of cuts out of the way. Look at Brunson, though. Brunson's not even looking at the fact that Cat's wide open. And it's because he's not used to it. Look at Brunson. He's looking down. He's looking this way. Hasn't even located Cat yet. He's wide open. Does eventually notice it and go, oh shit, he's right there. Passes him the ball and he hits it. This is one of those things where in time, Brunson will realize, like, as one of his passing reads, look back. Because if Cat's open, one of the best shots the Knicks can generate this year is an open catch and shoot 3 for Karl-Anthony Towns. And so there's no need to kind of overcomplicate things if that's open. And so again, that was an example, just simple example of like new players, new fit, gonna take some time. Brunson's playing with the stretch 5. He ran a ball screen. It took him a while to even look behind him to see if the stretch big was open. This is a Hornets play. that I wanted to show you guys, simply just because it's a very, very good example of a well-executed double drag. So double drag ball screen, we talk about stack ball screens. These are like different ball screens that involve 3 players, right? Stack ball screens where we have the shooter underneath and he's going to back screen for the screener, right? A double drag, all that is a staggered ball screen where one player rolls and one player pops. So Vasilije Micic is the ball handler. First screener pops, second screener rolls, right? So that's how the play is developed, right? But as you can see, let's go back to the defensive element. Shamet's chasing, but because of that second screen, Shamet's in trail position. This forces, I think that's Jericho Sims, is in the drop coverage. Jericho Sims is now defending the ball, and Shamet is chasing. So now we've made Precious Achiuwa make a decision, right? Because these guys, Shamet and Sims, are both on the ball. We have Taj rolling unguarded, and we have the popping shooter above the break, right? Precious has to make a decision. His decision he makes is to stay home. See, Precious stays home with the shooter. This makes it so that Taj is wide open, and Taj ends up getting a dunk. One last little detail here. Notice Vasilije Micic, watch how he fakes the floater before he throws the pass, which forces Jericho Sims to jump. Watch as he's getting downhill. He's going to go up like he's shooting a floater. Watch. You look right there. You're thinking floater right there. That looks like a floater. That forces Jericho Sims to jump. Boom. Now that roll is open. Because if he doesn't fake the shot, Jericho Sims is in that no roller behind coverage we talked about earlier, where now Jericho Sims can stunt, but recover and get back to Taj. This is why it's so important for the ball handler to engage the screen defender. He's got to get him to commit to him offensively. Otherwise, this guy won't be open. But again, as I talked about earlier, this is an on-ball example of that same concept we were talking about with the Clippers. The more on-ball action you run, meaning complicated action, multiple players instead of just a simple ball screen, the more opportunity you give the defense to make a mistake. And if the defense makes a mistake, that's where you generate the opening, right? Like that's why I'm such a big believer in running action. That's why I'm such a believer in off-ball player movement. It's about forcing the defense to execute. And the more times you force the defense to execute, the more times they're going to make mistakes. Moving on to the Lakers. Here is just a classic LeBron James, Anthony Davis pick and pop. This is a great example of that concept I was talking about earlier, involving drop coverages and how hard they are to guard against pick and pop. So again, KD's on the ball, right? KD's on the ball. We have Tyus Jones kind of digging down to the nail. But as LeBron comes off the ball screen, KD's chasing, Plumlee's dropping. AD pops, he's wide open. LeBron hits him and he knocks down the 3. And again, too, that's a simple example too. Last year, AD would have popped to this spot. AD would have popped more or less into this kind of like elbow area where he would have made probably 40-45% of them, right? He's not going to shoot 40-45% out here, but he's going to get an extra point every time he makes one, which is going to help with the math. Here's a really sharp Laker defensive possession that I wanted to shout out, and one specifically that shows some of the quality help side defense from LeBron James and Anthony Davis. So this is going to start with an action that gets defended by AD and Austin Reeves. So it starts with Beal is on Hachimura, right? Tyus Jones is being guarded by Austin Reeves. Beal is going to slip because on this pick, they're switching. The Lakers are switching 1 through 4. This is something they've been talking about a lot in training camp. But one of the ways you can beat switching is understand angles, right? So all I have to do is touch Austin. That's going to trigger the switch. But when I trigger the switch, Austin's now on my top side. Rui is guarding the ball handler. So Beal slips behind Austin, right? So they switched, but because Austin's stuck on the top side, Beal makes the right decision. He cuts, right? So that's how the Lakers got compromised initially. So now it's about helping each other in rotation, right? So AD's got to help, right? AD steps over and helps Beal. As AD helps Beal, you're going to watch Austin immediately go, oh shit, AD's got Beal. I need to recover to Plumlee. Austin gets to Plumlee. Look at him. He's running to Plumlee, making sure that drop-off pass isn't open. Beal would have thrown it if Austin had given up on the play or chased Brad. He would have thrown a little bounce pass to Plumlee. Plumlee's getting a dunk. Austin takes away the drop-off pass to Plumlee. Beal drives through. As Beal drives through, they switch again. Austin goes, okay, I got Brad now. Look at you can see AD identify it. He's like, okay, I'm on Beal. I'm on Beal. I'm on Beal. Okay, Austin's got him now. Watch him jerk back. Now he's coming back this way. Okay, now I'm back on Plumlee. Now, because if they don't communicate that well and they both stay on Beal, then Beal can drop it off to Plumlee here for a dunk because they recover. Now we're back in a one-on-one situation. Now it's Beal on an island against Austin Reeves. They end up kicking out, but they go right back down. So let me fast forward a little bit. There's our swing. Now we're one-on-one, Austin and Beal. Okay, 7 on the shot clock. Let's see how our help side defense pans out. I'm going to fast forward a little bit. Okay, so here we are posting up, right? Plumlee's making himself available at the elbow. KD's on the weak side. LeBron and AD are both in like help side position where they can stay home in case these kick out passes come, but they can help if they need to, right? So let's see. AD's making a decision. Austin's got this. He's fine. I don't need to help. Spin. But then he sees Austin gets compromised by the spin move right here. Uh-oh. Beal's going to go past him on the baseline. Now AD knows I've got to help. So AD comes over. Look at LeBron. LeBron hasn't done anything yet. But as soon as AD got his uh-oh moment with Austin, now LeBron's about to get his uh-oh moment with AD where he goes, oh shit, AD's coming over to help. AD is now committed to help. So now LeBron has to engage to make that next rotation. LeBron immediately engages, snaps over, beats Plumlee to the spot, and blocks him at the rim. Really, really good defense and communication from Austin, LeBron, and AD on that possession. All right, 2 more. This is an example of the Suns generating 3-point shots instead of mid-range pull-up shots. So as you can see here, Devin Booker gets slipped. Same sort of action we just talked about with Brad and Devin. Devin screens the bottom side of Rui. Because he's on the bottom side of Rui, when the switch triggers, look at Austin. Austin comes running out to guard KD. And now Hachimura is switching. Booker slips it, gets into this part of the floor, right? This is a shot we know Devin Booker can make and can make at a very, very high percentage. But instead, he knows that Dalton Knecht came over as the low man to help. Let's turn it into a wide open catch and shoot 3 for a guy who shot over 40% from 3 last year. Boom. That's the type of like order of operations where it's like, yeah, if it's late in the shot clock and we need to take a pull-up 2, or if they're staying home off the ball and we're in a 2-on-2 ball screen and this is the only shot we can get, okay, that's fine. But like whenever you can generate catch and shoot 3s for good shooters or shot attempts at the rim, they are so far and away more efficient than any other shot in basketball. You have to hunt those whenever you can. This was the last one I threw in here. I'm going to include a lot of this kind of junk in our film sessions just because I think it's fun. This is not any sort of dramatic schematic thing. I just think it's smart basketball players making a smart play. LeBron and AD are going to generate a dunk out of a jump ball here, middle of the game, right? So it's three minutes left in the second quarter. But look at how the play is set up. If you look at the Suns, Josh Okogie, one of the better athletes on the team, tied up with Max Christie on this side of the ball, right? We have the guy making the jump. Tallest player on the floor is Bol Bol. Bol Bol is assigned to D'Angelo Russell at this point in time in the jump ball. I want you to watch AD sprint as soon as he catches, because AD knows if I can just beat Bol Bol down the floor, I'm getting a dunk. Because I think this is Tyus Jones. Tyus Jones ain't going to stop me. Grayson Allen ain't going to stop me. The only guy that can stop me at the rim maybe is Bol Bol. If I outrun him and catch him slipping, I'm going to get a dunk. LeBron and AD have clearly discussed this before the play, because watch how quickly AD takes off. Sprint. Ball is up. See how quickly that was? See how quick that happened? LeBron throws the pass after one dribble. Those are little things where it's just like, oh, we identified that they're lined up funky on the jump ball and they don't have anybody back here to take care of the rim. Like if Bol Bol is back here instead, then that's not open. It's probably just something LeBron and AD discuss. Hey, whenever they have their big man away from like kind of that free safety spot in the jump ball, let's just have you sprint quick. Tap, sprint, one dribble, lob, dunk. Easy work for LeBron and AD.